the Civil War. We talked briefly about it on Friday, and I told you we were getting a project and stuff. So we're going to start. What I want you to do first is think about, just quietly to yourself, whether you want to be part of the United States or whether you want to be part of the Confederacy. We're going to share. We kind of know what happens, but maybe you want to try and change that. You think you could be better? Maybe you want to change it. The room is split up into two parts already, right? We're going to have the Union over here, the United States, and the Confederacy. So what I want you to do is stand up with your books right now. Come to the front of the room. I'm going to call your name at random, and you're going to choose whether you want to be on the Union or whether you want to be on the Confederacy. First, Armand. Armand, pick one side. Go sit. Whatever side you want to be on.
Oh, wait, no, it's mine. Which one? Unions or Confederacy?
Joe, pick what side you would like to be on. Confederacy you're going for. Anthony. Rebecca. Dominic. Grossberg. Morgan. Leah. Bella. Ross.
I thought someone was pushing.
Julian. Union Confederacy. Max. Gretel. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can have 3 more. Christian.
Confederate.
Yes. We win. Eric. Malini. Alex.
No.
We only have like one more person.
Yeah, one more. JP. Confederacy. Next, you're going to elect in your country a president and a vice president. If you are you're in the United States, who is your president? What's his name?
Malini.
Malini? Congratulations. You're the president of the United States. What's his name, the real president in 1860? Lincoln. South. Hold on. The South. Who was the real president in the 1860s of the Confederacy?
Jefferson Davis.
Thank you for looking. As you are thinking about who you want to elect as your president, you want to think of a couple of things. One, they are commander-in-chief of your nation. The president is responsible. The president's responsible for giving everyone tasks to complete and keeping everyone on task at all times. So you want to pick someone that is naturally a good leader and can assign responsibilities and is capable of holding on to that responsibility and doing a good job with it. The president president is in charge of the locker. You're going to be given a locker where you keep all of your goods. Only the president and the vice president are allowed in that locker. No other students can be in and out of that locker doing things with it. Only 4 people in the whole class can go in and out of that locker. President and vice president are in charge. The president must make sure that all components of the assignments are completed and displayed during each class period. So they're going to come to class, get everything out, and make sure that everything is displayed. If the president's absent, the vice president takes his place, and you want to pick someone that is a strong leader for your country. You have 3 minutes to hold elections. This is democracy, so we're holding elections within your group. Think about president and vice president. 3 minutes, go.
No, not the
Let's take a vote. Everybody decide who wants to be nominated, who wants to do it.
Vice President.
Okay, you're having ballots. You're deciding who wants to, whether people want to be president or vice president.
No. Who wishes to be president or vice president?
So therefore,
No one is guaranteed a spot for the election.
John, do you have
We can have 2 minutes. Yeah, I want to be I'll be the counter.
Okay, guys, it's Oscar.
Alright, so who wants to be president?
I'm sorry. Give me your votes. I have to make sure that the social
Wait, who's running for president?
Yes, 30.
Oh, okay.
I'll get it later.
Does anyone else want to run for VP?
Hold on, guys.
Excuse me. Ballot collector. Ballot collector.
Yep.
Ballot collector.
She's sitting on it. I don't know what that is. Sammy? Okay.
Yep, that was mine.
Wow, you Eric, okay. Alright, hold on.
I just kind of don't trust.
This might actually be.
Did you want to be president?
You never always agree.
I thought you wanted to be vice president.
There's only 2 candidates.
Oh, I got my unicorn.
I voted for
I for myself. Okay, we've got Leah as president, Melania as president.
You did it.
Oh, we're just like, okay.
Oh, okay.
No, I think that's one guy in there.
Guys, I'm showing like green.
Yeah, you're good.
Quiet. All right, who's Abraham Lincoln? Leon, your new seat. Go ahead, you're going to be right here. Who's the VP? Malini, you need to find out what your name is, for real.
It's Jonathan.
And you're gonna sit right here.
Oh, I got
Who's your president? Davis, right here. You need to find out who the VP is. That's you.
Wait, who is the vice president of the Confederate?
You have to find out.
No, Leland, you just sound so good.
All right, ready? We're moving on. We're moving on? We're moving on. Alex. Okay. Here are the requirements for each country. Presidents, pay attention. I will be sharing it with the presidents and the vice presidents, the presentation. But you're in charge, so you need to be paying attention and know what's going on. Each person in the group is to be assigned a state in their country. And they need to recreate an 1860s flag for their state. Meaning if you get Michigan, I don't want the Michigan flag of today. It may have been different in 1860. So you need to look it up and see what the flag looked like for Michigan in 1860. Each country must also have a national flag that was used during the Civil War. And then you can have other decorations representative of your nation to enhance your side of the room. So if you want an American flag, red, white, and blue stuff, same thing with the Confederacy. Kind of have more blue, the Confederacy flag, things like that, decorations. The resources your nation has at its disposal to support the war. And we're going to go through what all those resources are. And so what's the first thing everyone has to do?
Pick a state.
Pick a state, and what do you need for that state?
A flag.
A flag.
Old flag.
Yeah.
An old flag, correct. Okay, now think about, in addition to your flag, you have to do some other work. And you can split this up however you want. If you have people in your group that like to do more of the research aspects of things, you can have people research, and then you can have people making the material. For instance, you need country that your country used during the war. You can have your team of researchers look up what the currency was in 1860, and then you can have your more artsy people, your more visual people, making the currency, what the greenbacks look like in 1860. You can have people making those, okay? Or you can have someone that's just in charge of currency. So they have to look it up, see what it's like, and then make it. It's up to you. The uniforms the men and sometimes women wore during the war and the number of troops your country has available to fight. So what did the uniforms look like in the Confederacy? What did they look like in the Union? And you can be creative. Some people in the past have had actual uniforms at their house that they brought in. Other people draw it on a large sheet of paper. Other people cut it out, and each person has a uniform. So you can do it however you want, or you can have, once again, have your team of researchers look up the information, and then everyone, the other people make it, decide how they're going to distribute that within the group. You need to find out who the important generals were that fought for your country, and then assign people to be those important generals, and have a basic understanding of their background for that, okay? And then weapons that your country used during the war, and I'm going to give you some rules for those weapons. But you want to look up what the weapons look like, and then you can make actual weapons. You may have seen them last year in the hall. So people had cannons, or people had muskets.
I'm bringing the course.
JP,
You feel like an airsoft gun in this school?
you could not. You're making them. They're not actual guns, and they have to be representative of the Civil War time period. So You can bring in, if you have a play horse of some sort, you can bring that in. But with construction paper, you're going to make your weapons. And they should be weapons during the 1860s, during that Civil War period. Your rules for the weapons. 1, they must be kept in the locker at all times with the exception of this class period. So you should not be in science class in Mr. Herminga's room and have a cannon or have a gun inside that room. They're in your locker. They're in your in the class locker that your president and vice president are in charge of the entire day with the exception of 5th hour. You may also never point a weapon at anyone in the class or pretend play with weapons. Do not come in and just start shooting each other and pretend play. If you break the rules, you will receive a referral automatically. There's no innocent until proven guilty in this case. You're just guilty. So if a teacher sees you, if another student says this is what was going on, you're getting an automatic referral. Keep that in mind. Each country will have to research information for the project. The president is responsible for keeping an updated source folder at all times. It must contain a works cited information for any research your nation has completed. So if you're completing research and you use history.com, the History Channel, use history.com, and you find information, create a quick source for that, create a works cited, an MLA source for that, and give it to your president. Presidents, you can either set up a Google form or a Google sheet that everyone just plugs it all in, or you can have a folder and they just keep giving you sheets of paper, whatever you want to do. You do not have to cite your textbook. I know you're going to use that, and make sure you're using credible sources while you research. We know what those are. We've talked about them all year. That's it. So you're going to spend the next 5 or 10 minutes talking in your group, president and vice president. You're going to see what people want to do, how you want to split it up. If you want to research, you have a research team and an art team, a visual team, you can do that. Or you can, if you're just interested, you want to do all the work for weapons, maybe you just give someone weapons and you don't have a separate team. So you have until 12 o'clock to talk in your group, and then you're going to D12 to work. Go.
Hey, where's the weapon?